You're listening to the Before You Market podcast. In a world of endless tactics and fleeting trends, we're here to show you why putting your brand first changes everything. Join us as we explore how a brand-first strategy can revolutionize your marketing. Get ready to rethink marketing. This is Before You Market.
And we're live. No, we're not live. We're recording. I don't know what we are. We're crazy. Hi.
We're walking
Welcome.
into the kitchen, forgetting what we're looking
We're
for.
walking into the kitchen, forgetting what we were doing. What were we just talking about?
I have no idea.
Welcome to the Before You Market podcast, where we challenge you to, every time, rethink marketing. To help us in this endeavor, we've invited some of the best marketers in the business to enlighten you on your path to a brand-first awakening. That's right. That's what we're going with, a brand-first awakening. It's important. But anyway, Brooke has been on the scene long enough to be considered a thought leader and expert. At least I do. I think she's awesome. But she's still young enough to be taken seriously when she talks about TikTok. So, she's got the best of both worlds. But anyway, Brooke is also one of those marketing experts who understands how to use social media the right way. That's right. I said the right way, as a conversation. And I'm sure that's going to come up again. I've never spoken to Brooke before in real life, although I feel like we're friends and we've been chatting online for many, many, many years. But I'm super excited to have this conversation with you, Brooke, and to pick your brain. So please, if you would, take a moment and introduce yourself to these wonderful folks.
Hey, y'all. I'm
Howdy.
Brooke Sellas. Howdy. I'm from Texas. I lived there for
Nice.
29 years. I say y'all all the time. I can't help
Nice.
it. It is an actual word, by the way. It means you all.
Yeah.
Use, Y-O-U-S, not a word.
Well, in the English language, we have no official second person plural, and it's very strange. But anyway, continue.
So I founded B Squared Media, which is a social agency 12 and a half years ago, which is
Wow.
mind-blowing, right? So I think I am old enough to be a thought leader, but not young enough to know TikToking. I don't TikTok.
Nice.
I
Right.
find it extremely amusing. I love all the themes and trends. I would love to be like a dance person on TikTok, but I don't TikTok. And yeah, my mantra, marketing mantra, brand mantra, whatever you want to call it, is think conversation, not campaign. And
Love
I
it.
live by that every single day.
In fact, I believe you even trademarked it, which
I
smart
did.
move. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's good.
Thank you. Yeah, I owned the trademark to think conversation, not campaign before I actually started the company, believe it or not.
That's the way to do it. You protect your ideas and then you go make money. Yes.
Yes.
So I remember when you came on the scene and you impressed me a great deal then, and you still do today. That said, I really hate social media. So I'm hoping that you can help me to fall in love with social media again. So I know this is a tall order, but are you up for it?
I'm totally up for it.
All right, let's do it. So in a recent article, you described social media as a key player in building trust, influencing opinions, and fostering customer loyalty. Now, I agree with this, but I think many brands are missing this opportunity and using social media to blast people with what I like to call pseudo advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure many people think I'm being too bitter. I don't know, but I wanted to get your thoughts. Do you agree that many brands have strayed from the true potential of social media?
Yeah. And I'm going to say something a lot of you are going to really hate. So don't at me, bro. But we have become so enamored with content. It's content this, content that. Every single time the latest, research is published around marketing, content budgets always at the top, right? We're just throwing all this money at content. And yet we've forgotten what content actually means. It's become kind of a commodity on social media, when really, when you think about what the purpose of social media is, which is connection, content is supposed to be the vehicle that gets you to emotion. Emotion is how you get to connection. You cannot get there without the emotion. So, yes, most brands, if you look at most branded content, it's commodity content, right? It's all based on the brand. It's all facts and cliches about their products and services. There really isn't a lot of opinion sharing, like as a brand, or feeling sharing, but there also isn't a lot of soliciting opinions and feelings from their audiences, which are hopefully customers and would-be customers. So yeah, I think 90% of brands out there are doing it wrong. Sorry, not sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And also, by the way, every time Gary Vaynerchuk says content, a kitten dies. I don't know if you knew this.
I thought you were going to say take a shot. I'm like, how would we function?
Well, yeah, that's right.
I would be on the floor.
We would all be constantly hammered. No,
Yeah.
that's not fair. Gary's a nice guy. Anyway,
people don't like this. People don't like this, right? Because I mean, again, the data shows like we're so enamored with content. We think the answer is content. It's not. Sorry, it's not.
It's not. It's emotion. It's connection. It's authenticity. And so which leads me to my next question, because in that same post you argue for more transparency and more authenticity from brands, which, yes, amen to that. But then you quote a stat that kind of says it all, which is 69% of consumers trust influencers, friends, and family over information coming directly from a brand. So, I guess at this point, because I tend to be the one to throw up my hands and give up because I'm lazy, do you think that brands would be better off using their people on social media to market themselves, at least, maybe the smaller brands, or can companies and brands and organizations still move the needle with their company pages and speaking as a brand?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, we created that problem. We meaning marketers, right? Because we have this idea that content is the solution for all the things. We created this problem with people not being able to trust brands. Brands aren't vulnerable. You can't have a relationship without being vulnerable. So because you refuse to be vulnerable, you're not building those connections, right? But as the famous quote in Dumb and Dumber, you can totally redeem yourself if you start thinking about more of those opinions and feelings type content. You can also use influencers, what we call trust fluencers. So they may not be influencers. They may actually be like one of your brand advocates or something. And employees, EX equals CX, right? Employee experience equals customer experience. Employees who actually care, right? Don't mandate this, please. Don't make everybody jump on social and share the company stuff. That is not what I'm talking about.
Because then you've lost your authenticity piece.
Yes. But if you can identify those people, and they can help you get your message out there. And I do think it will be a big part of building trust and loyalty, but you've also got to stop with the commodity content. You've got to start sharing and then also asking for opinions and feelings. This could be as easy as using a poll. Every social media platform now has polls. Start there. Ask things that are adjacent to your brand, your industry, your competitors even, and collect voice of customer data through those conversations. I'm not just saying like have conversations to have conversations. They are a strategy to collect voice of customer data to help you market better to your customers and your would-be customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you agree with Brooke, leave your comments below. No, I'm just kidding.
Comment, conversation. Yeah, think conversation, not campaign. Yeah.
Mash that subscribe button, people.
Do it.
You got to hit the bell. The bell's important.
Is it the bell? Is it a follow? I'm lost. I'm in the kitchen again. I have no idea what I'm in there for.
What was I just doing? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
So, unlike me, you actually did smart things in college, and your thesis in college was about the social penetration theory, or SPT, from the 70s. Which, if you don't know about it, go look it up. It's very interesting. It's anyway. Your thesis was, how does it apply to sort of online marketing and social media, which I found very fascinating. And your findings mainly showed that brands were not doing well in terms of building trust and relationships, with their social media activity. So first, I wonder if you could kind of break this down for us a little bit. And then I'm curious to get your thoughts on how you think AI might impact this whole social penetration theory situation thing. Doo-ha.
Do-ha. I love it. Well, here's how we're going to do the doing. So social penetration theory, terrible name, brilliant concept.
Yeah, it is a terrible name.
Terrible name. Every time
Thank
I say
you.
it in my
Thank you for saying that.
I watch the audience like try not to burst out laughing. In some cases, they burst out laughing. I didn't name it. Okay.
I had a hard time saying it just then. I agree. Thank you for pointing that out.
We could also call it the onion theory. Let's call it the onion theory.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you. Yes.
So if you think about an onion, right? An onion, I don't know when the last time you peeled an onion, but it has lots and lots of layers. And what we are doing with our content is really, we're not even peeling the onion. We're just kind of going in circles around it, which is very superficial, right? The SPT, or the onion theory, says that we form relationships. John and I are getting to know each other through disclosures. A self-disclosure means I'm giving John information about myself that he doesn't already know, right? So if I said, hey, my name's Brooke, you'd be like, cool, I already knew that.
Isn't it actually Jennifer?
It is actually Jennifer. My first name is Jennifer. Yes, you read the book, obviously. Yeah. So if I said my name is Brooke, that's a fact, right? It doesn't help us really build the relationship. But if I said my name's actually Jennifer, but I've gone by Brooke since birth, that's a fact, but it's interesting because it's not otherwise known, right? I'm giving new information. Most branded content lives in facts and cliches. Cliches is the lowest level. This is like, hey, really sunny out there today. You know, it's like that water cooler. Like you're in the elevator and you're just like trying to fill the silence with nonsense. It does absolutely nothing to move the relationship forward. What the theory saw was that when people share opinions, like an opinion would be, a fact would be it's raining outside. An opinion would be like, I get really depressed when it rains.
Right.
And then John might think, oh, I get depressed too. Gosh, I relate to Brooke. Or he might think, I love rain. Rain's amazing. Brooke's not my people, right? And
I'm only happy when it rains.
You move away from me. But this is good because dissolution is a good thing. We are not trying to sell to everyone. So dissolution, good thing. You want to align with people who are going to match your brand core values, which are your brand opinions and feelings. And then feelings, obviously, that's the deepest level of the onion. This is where trust and loyalty happens. And by the way, trust and loyalty only happens with feelings. And then if you tie that to the Harvard study, which says that we buy, 95% of why we buy is based on emotion. It's like literally mind-blowing to me that in the year 2024, almost 2025, we are talking about the fact that you need to use more emotions in your marketing. I mean, I don't think it's that smart. I think it's just common sense, but thank you for the compliment. So that's a really long way of just saying that you gotta get there somehow, which means vulnerability. It means emotional marketing. It means having these conversations, which social media is perfect for, by the way.
Right.
And then when it comes to AI, for the second part of your conversation, I think AI is going to be amazingly helpful, but I also think you're going to have to use it in such a way that's really smart. So when somebody comes to you and they want that factual information, are you open today? Do you have this in a size 7? Whatever it may be, those facts can be answered by a bot 24/7 on social with 100% accuracy right away, right? Nobody's having to wait for this factual information. However, if somebody is coming to you with opinions and feelings, your product sucks, I'm so mad I bought your product, that's where I don't think AI should be the frontline service person thing, but I think you need a human involved when it involves opinions and feelings, because I think we are going to get to a place, we're not there now, right? We're all like, all enamored by AI, it's amazing, but I think eventually we're going to get to a place where AI becomes a commodity, just like content. Everybody's using it, and to be able to connect with a real human when you have a need, whether it's good or bad, is going to be everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting, you know, when you think about the onion theory and then you apply that to brands, I think that's, you know, to me, that's genius, because I think that's where most marketers and brands, you know, they miss an opportunity, because they skip right past everything and they just blast, instead of like figuring out who they are as a brand, because a brand doesn't just like, fully form overnight, and it doesn't just like its perception doesn't form overnight. All of this stuff takes time. And so to be authentic as a brand, you have to know who you are. And I think that's where so many brands, like, they don't have a clue who they are.
No.
They know they have a really cool logo or whatever. They know they sell
colors.
X. Yeah.
Like,
but
all
they're
the cool
not
colors. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They're not real. They don't have an authentic self yet. They can.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're hitting it right on the head. So a lot of what we do when we do consulting and training on social care is we start there. We start with, what's your brand mission? What are your brand's values? What's the brand philosophy? How do you tie all of those things to business outcome?
Right.
What nonprofit organizations do you support? Where do you align yourselves politically? Even if we're not going to share about it, you need to know, because that does help develop a tone of voice.
Yeah.
It helps people understand. Like, we could talk about REI, for instance, or Patagonia. Let's talk about Patagonia, because I think that's even more obvious, right? Patagonia is constantly sharing content about their opinions and feelings about climate change. And so we kind of know where they sit politically on the scale, even though they've never told us. But you can go read their posts, and time again, they're talking about how they want to save the planet, that
Right.
they are concerned about climate change. Their audience is totally aligned with that core mission and value and purpose of that brand. The people who don't believe in climate change aren't their customers, and so they don't care if their content's being vulnerable, because they know they're aligning with an audience that pays, and that pays a lot, in some cases like 4 times higher for that piece of clothing than they would at, say, like a Walmart or something like that.
I mean, just think about that. That alone, it's worth putting the time into your brand. It's worth being, figuring out who you are as a brand. Yeah. So you and I totally on the same page.
We're vibing.
Yeah, we're vibing. Now, if we could just, get the rest of the world to
please come vibe with us, please.
Come on, let's vibe.
I'm so
Let's
tired
do
of
this.
begging. Let's vibe. Vibing equals money. Like, this is what I say too. Passion equals profit.
Yeah.
If you figure out what you're passionate about as a brand, besides money, sorry. So if that's it, maybe you're not part of this. You're just, it's okay. You're not part of this club.
Right.
But if you can figure out what you're passionate about and align yourself with customers and would-be customers who are also passionate about that, maybe it's clean water, maybe it's climate change, whatever it is, it leads to profit, right? Patagonia knows that, because even though their clothes are a lot more expensive than something you can get similarly elsewhere, people are really buying that experience, that emotion, right? That 95% of the emotion from Patagonia versus somewhere else.
Now, of course, everybody's going to be, thinking like, oh, well, that sounds like, that's all, time intensive. And then they do things like they use AI to, to develop their social media content. And I'm curious to hear, your kind of perspective on that today, and then how you think that either might or should evolve in the future in terms of using AI to maybe not ideate, maybe not creatively come up with different ideas, but to actually generate the content once you've fed it certain information. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't mind AI creating the content if it knows
Right.
that my goal is conversation and voice of customer data collection. Right. So I think it's all in the prompting right now. But so the way I talk to my Brooke bot is I tell her, I've trained her all on me. I've given her all of my writing style. And then I say, knowing that Brooke is looking for engagement, she is looking for conversations that spark, a lot of conversation from people who are customers, would-be customers, other marketers. Help me come up with some ideas. And those ideas are usually very good, because I've given the AI the execution of knowing that the whole goal is engagement on a higher level. You could actually take your social media post and download that data into a CSV file, just the conversations and maybe the analytics, like how many likes, how many comments, reactions, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Upload that into like a ChatGPT, let's say, and say, analyze this content, analyze the patterns and trends that you see, but also give me the gaps. Knowing
Right.
that my goal for 2025, maybe you do 2024 or this month or whatever, is to have more conversations and to get more engagement. And I don't just mean the vanity engagement like likes, right? I want comments. I want shares.
Right.
And AI will actually, in seconds,
Yeah.
look at that data, write up a really cool synopsis, and then tell you and then continue the conversation. Talk to it like it's a person and say, wow, this is amazing. Thank you for that information. Now, can you tell me, based on what you're seeing from 2024, moving forward to 2025, help me create conversational content. Let's say you post Monday through Friday, 3 times a week. 2 times a week, we're going to post like the salesy, commodity stuff. But 3 times a week, I want to make sure I'm trying to have a conversation. Help me do that. It will. Now, I wouldn't say take that as a final answer and copy and paste it. You have to zhuzh. You got to zhuzh.
That's a professional term. Yeah.
It's very professional.
Yeah.
But it will help you get there. And it is hard. Like you said earlier, like it's not easy, but start with polls. Start with just asking polls, right? And then once people are conditioned to start answering polls, then you could lead to like an ABCD, like type it in. Then you could lead to like a fill in the blank. I actually have a free course on creating conversational content that connects. I guess I should talk about. If you go to bsquared.media under resources, go to our courses. It's completely free. And I have tons of examples of how brands are doing this right, both B2B and B2C.
Great. Awesome. We'll put a link in there. Yeah.
Thanks.
Now, here's the question. I want to know how many times should I post on social media? What are the best days? What are the best times? Should I talk in the third person or the second person or the first person? Is Monday better than Friday? What about Tuesday?
Quit it. That would be my aunt. Like, quit it. Like that. Yes. My mom's real. Obviously, we're Southern, so
knock it off.
Me and my sisters get together. We always quit it each other because my mom would be like on the phone in her room. This is like way back when. I'm ancient. Yeah. Like in early 90s, and we'd walk in and we'd be like, Mom, and she'd be like, quit it,
nice.
Quit it, and get with a little hit. Get. So that would be my advice if you're asking those questions. But in all seriousness, our frequency for posting is based on engagement. And you'll see me do this on my personal LinkedIn all the time. I'll do conversation. And then when I have all this engagement happening over those 3 days of all those conversations, then that next day I'm like, oh, and by the way, sign up for this thing, or fill out my survey, or go check out this blog post I wrote. So I ask, or give, right? Yep. Conversation, boom. Because what happens, I'm showing the algorithm that I'm getting all this crazy good engagement. They're more likely to see the salesy post, right? So posting frequency, post based on your engagement levels. Not getting engagement, don't post again until the next day or wait a couple of days even.
By the way, in the early 90s, I was in college wasting an enormous amount of time, just hours of time gone. Anyway, so we have a bonus question from my main partner in crime, my buddy here at Brand 3, our marketing coordinator, Emma Marzullo. And Emma asks, and I'm going to read it verbatim. I've seen you emphasize the importance of conversations in marketing, more specifically social media. What are some tips for helping brands in more traditional or technical industries spark creativity when building meaningful conversations with their audiences, even when their products and services may seem less exciting at first glance?
Yeah.
How do you do boring?
We do a lot of boring, believe it or not. A lot of our social care clients are like in manufacturing, finance, right? Some industries that you think are not sexy at all. But I want you to stop thinking about building a follower base on social media and start building a customer base. Because you know who cares about your content on social? Your customers, even if it's factual and cliche for the most part, right?
Yep.
So let's start there. And then secondly, think about ways that you can have fun with your audience and conversations or polls or whatever it is that are adjacent to your brand, your industry, your competitors. So yesterday on LinkedIn, I am a B2B brand, right? My company is a B2B brand and my personal brand is a B2B brand because my personal brand is trying to help my professional brand.
Jennifer's B2C, but Brooke is
Yeah,
B2B.
Brooke is B2B. Jennifer, we'll talk about her a different episode. So I posted, I think it was yesterday on LinkedIn, like let's pretend like I'm hosting the biggest, baddest Halloween party, right? Halloween's on the brain, but it's for marketers and you have to come dressed as a marketing theme. What would you come as? I think I have like 50 something comments on that post, a ton of back and forth. I'm answering people are now coming back to me again and saying something. All of that is very adjacent to what I do. It's very top of mind. We're talking about ROI and conversations and algorithms, and you should go check it out. It's actually pretty funny.
Okay, I'm sure. I was trying to think of what I would go as while you were talking.
Exactly.
But yeah.
You could also ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's really fun and funny. It's not necessarily selling anything, but then guess what I did today? After all of that conversation happened and I got all of those engagement and impression numbers, I posted something about like, hey, if you're trying to be more customer centric in 2025, we should talk.
Right.
Stuff like that. Like it doesn't have to be, and our microphone now has a new wire. Like, no, stop that. It'd be like if you were a speaker at an event and you had, one of our mics sitting in front of you. What would your opening liner be? Like, like, let me tell you, I've always wanted to do this. Maybe somebody will let me do this on stage if any of the speaking people out there are listening. I've always wanted to get on the mic when I walk up on stage and be like, party people, and then have boom, like start playing, right? Like that is my ultimate dream. Like that is how I would answer that question. It's fun, right? But it still pertains to the microphone brand.
Jay Bear, just real quick. So Jay Bear was telling me a story where he was speaking at a corporate event about team building and the entire, I think it was Jay Bear, I'm pretty sure, and the entire backdrop just started falling forward and the entire team rushed forward and like caught it and like saved the day. And he was just about to go on stage and he's sitting there thinking, oh my God, I guess I'm not going to speak now. And then he started thinking, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
You lean into what's going to resonate with people. Yeah.
Lean in. Like
literally.
Let your goofy flag fly. Like
right.
I am so goofy and I think that comes across in my content and that is just part of the brand, right? Mm-hmm. So, but that's me being vulnerable. I used to be very like buttoned up and we have these serious clients and so I need to be serious. Right. No, they love the silly side. So your clients may not like the silly side, but figure out what your brand identity is and then make sure it aligns with who your customers are.
Everybody loves a little bit of silly as long as it fits and it's not forced. When you force silly, then it's awkward.
Awkward. Yes. Yeah. It can lean awkward really fast. And not to say that I'm never awkward. I'd say it's like a 70-30 split.
Well, I mean, for me, awkward works.
That is also true. Like maybe...
Awkward's very on brand for me.
I love it. So then 30% of what I do like really like identifies with you.
Yeah.
See, that's great.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. See, we've connected on our awkwardness. I love it. I love it.
I think awkwardness, it's just kind of part of the game when you're silly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Sellas and John Bailey getting awkward. Love it. It's awesome.
Oh my God, we should start our own podcast called Getting Awkward.
Oh God, that's good.
And then force brands to come on and get awkward, man. We'll help you through it, but get awkward, get vulnerable. Let's do it.
Oh my God, I love that. That's so awesome. We should totally do that.
I should start marketing for a living.
I know, you really should. You missed your calling. Wait.
Man.
Well, Brooke, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I actually learned a few things here, and I think this is all just amazing stuff. And, you never disappoint, and it's great to finally talk to you in person. And maybe someday we'll see each other IRL, as the kids say.
Yes, I hope so. And look for us coming soon on a podcast near you. Get awkward.
We're getting awkward, people. All right. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Before You Market. Want more insights on revolutionizing your marketing strategy? Visit beforeyoumarket.com for all our episodes, exclusive content, and the Before You Market book. Remember, great marketing starts with a strong brand. We'll see you next time on Before You Market.